Memorable, a visit to the White House with the president. Then, after winning a series in Philly, Chris Heston made history with a no-hitter in New York. Tonight, at long last, the team is back home at the corner of 3rd and King as the Orange and Black get back to business within the division. The Giants and D-backs meet. A National League West showdown. Game 1 of the series coming up next. After the hot, sticky, humid night in New York last night, it's great to be home. The weather is fabulous. The Giants at 24 Willie Mays Plaza open their series with the Diamondbacks. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow and Dwayne Kuiper. Welcome to San Francisco Giants baseball. Giants did well on that road trip, even with the disappointing loss last night. And they hit real well on the road trip. And they've been hitting well on the road most of the season. They're the highest scoring road team in the league. But here at home, although they've won their fair share of games, the Giants have struggled to put runs up.
Well, they score 2 more runs a game on the road than they do here at AT&T. Now, they are above 500 here, but it's a bit unusual that the Giants are 7 games above 500 as a team, but they've won more games on the road than they have here at AT&T. Why? Because this has always been a very big home field advantage for the Giants. However, they have lost their last 5 games here, and they're playing an Arizona Diamondbacks team that they are 3-4 on the year with, and they really haven't played great baseball against them. So they need to do what they did on the road trip. They need to string hits together, and on the road they could come up with a crooked number at any time. That was their strength. Hopefully they can start doing it here. 3
of those Arizona wins against the Giants earlier this year occurred right here at AT&T Park. Madison Bumgarner, looking for his 8th win, will get the call for the Giants here tonight against Chase Anderson, also a left-hander. Giants always feel confident with Bumgarner on the mound.
Well, they need Bumgarner to go deep in this ball game too. There's a little bit of a beat-up bullpen. The Giants use their bullpen a lot the last several days, and they didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so they need their big horse to go deep in this ball game. He has 7 lifetime wins against this Arizona team, and he's throwing very well right now, so hopefully he can do that.
The Giants did fortify their bullpen. They brought up Michael Broadway, hard-throwing right-hander from Sacramento. He was having a fine year down there as Hunter Pence was placed on the disabled list. Stay tuned. We'll take you to the Comcast Sportsnet studios for more on tonight's game right after these messages.
welcome into our CSN studios. Randy Wynn, Ahmed Fareed, as the Giants are back home. The road trip is over. It was a successful one, Randy. 4-2. They got to be happy with that one.
Absolutely. You know, when you go out on the road, you want to win the series. You want to take 2 out of 3. The Giants had a couple chances to sweep. They didn't sweep, but that doesn't make it a bad road trip. You got to win the series. You got to win the first 2, and that's what they did each series. You win the first 2 to put yourself in a situation to sweep. You know, good all-around play, good strong pitching, good hitting, timely hitting, good Giants baseball on the road.
Now they got a quick turnaround because they played last night in New York, and now they're playing on the other coast just 24 hours later.
Yeah, and that's miserable. That is the bad travel of baseball. When you play a night game in New York, you get on a plane, you fly cross country, you get in. The Giants didn't get in and get to the field, to the parking lot till 5 a.m., and then you got a game that night. That is not fun. I would expect them to be a little bit sluggish at some point during this series.
Diamondbacks were here. They had a day off. They're rested. They slept in 2 days in a row.
They had the good travel.
Madison Bumgarner gave up some runs in his last start in Philadelphia, but said overall he felt really good and liked the way he pitched.
Yeah, you know, great starting pitchers. They win ball games every type of way. You win a 9-8 ball game, you win a 1-0 ball game. You do your job to put the team in position to win. That's what Madison Bumgarner did. He gave up some home runs, gave up some runs, but the team still won.
Reminder, as soon as the game is over, we will have your post-game coverage right here, CSN Bay Area. Randy, I'll make sure he sticks around for that. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it.
Wouldn't miss it.
You've got to stick around. All right, we got back to AT&T Park after this. We'll send it to the guys calling the game as the Giants are back home. The road trip over. 5-game homestand starts now.
After a very long night of travel, but they are ready to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks for a 3-game series. Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Amy Gutierrez. And the Giants, they may be a little bit tired today, but they have a very eventful road trip to look back upon, use as motivation, maybe even adrenaline tonight. If you missed any of it, we've got you covered. We're going to take a look back at it right now. It started with a visit to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as they were recognized by the President of the United States as the 2014 World Series champs. Then on to Philly, back to business. Buster Posey, then Matt Duffy. Adding to that will be Justin Maxwell. All three fellas homered in game 1 of that series. The offense on fire all series. 16 runs, 34 hits against Philly. And then they took a trip north to the Big Apple. And that gentleman right there, rookie Chris Heston, authored his first career no-hitter. He gets a Buster hug out of it. He told me today he's still reeling from the accomplishment. And then on to native New Yorker, Mr. Joe Panik. Hey, he likes to go home. He likes to homer at home. Game 1 against the Mets. Family and friends liked it so much he decided to do it again in game 2. It's a lot to take in. It's a whole lot to be proud of. Madison Bumgarner will be on the hill for the Giants this evening. John Miller, Mike Krukow have the call. First pitch lineups will be coming up shortly, so stay with us.
Begin here at AT&T Park. Let's take a look at the Arizona batting order, brought to you by your Northern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Ender Inciarte leads off left field. A.J. Pollock, and he's been hitting well against all comers, but particularly left-handed pitching. Center field. Paul Goldschmidt, one of the best in the game, and he always has tormented the Giants. First base. Yasmani Tomas, the Cuban emigre, and he's been doing extremely well, but especially here in the last week and a half. 387 in his last 8 games. Aaron Hill, third base. Chris Owings at second base, hitting 6th. Wellington Castillo, just recently acquired after the injury to the regular starting catcher. And Nick Ahmed at shortstop, hitting 8th. And Chase Anderson, the pitcher, facing the Giants for the first time.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be their ace, Madison Bumgarner, 6'5", 235-pounder. He's 25 years of age. 5-year veteran at the big league level. In 12 starts this year, he's 7-2 with a 3.38 ERA. 72 strikeouts in 77 innings, just 13 walks against those 72 strikeouts. And when you take your bats against him, you're going to see a low three-quarter, low 90s fastball with natural cut. He'll have a hard slider. He'll also throw a curveball and a changeup at you. Lifetime against these Diamondbacks, 7-4 with a 2.76 ERA. So he has enjoyed pitching against Arizona.
So here is Inciarte to lead off. Inciarte, 292 average, 319 on base percentage. He's got lots of speed, but does not often walk. And we begin. And it's ball one. 66 degrees, the official game time temperature here at AT&T Park. In deference to the speed of Inciarte, Duffy plays him shallow at third. And that pop-up is going over toward Brandon Crawford. And there's one away.
Let's take a look at the defense that the Giants will employ tonight behind Madison Bumgarner, starting the Giants outfield from left to right. It'll be Aoki, Pagan, and Maxwell, the best arm in right field. Crawford and Duffy on the left side of the infield. Panic and Bell on the right side. Buster Posey will be in the squad, putting down the signs. This is a Giants defense that ranks 6th in the, or beg your pardon, 5th in the National League. They've made 31 errors.
A.J. Pollock, and it's 0-1. Pollock has a well over 300 averages, you see right there, 326, but against left-handed pitching, A.J. Pollock hitting .412. That one got away from Bumgarner. One ball, one strike.
Just a bit outside. Bumgarner's going to have a good strike zone tonight. Mark Carlson, the plate umpire, is a good zone to throw to. You'll see some high strikes around the belt, too, that you don't get with other umpires. But he's a guy that looks for strikes.
And it's 2-1. The umpiring alignment with Carlson back of the plate. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, at first base. Adam Hamari, second base. Mike DeMuro umpiring at third. And that's a fastball at 94 miles an hour for a strike.
Talk about the year that Pollock's been having. I mean, if the Arizona people feel that this is a player certainly worthy of all-star consideration, he's been that good, both with the bat and with the glove. He's got good numbers against Bumgarner.
2-2 the count. Goldschmidt on deck. Just got a piece of that one to stay alive. 2-2. The Dodgers are playing in San Diego tonight, so we'll keep an eye on that game as we bring you this one. They're just getting started down there as well. The Giants begin the day a game and a half out in the National League West. Struck him out with the curveball. 2 down.
Well, he showed him all the pitches that he has in that sequence of pitches. And the finale was a curveball that he saved for a little 2-strike surprise. Puts it right in the outside corner. And he gets Pollock to chase. Just a nice job of setting up that pitch with hard stuff and then dropping it on the outside corner in a good location to get the swing through.
Now, Goldschmidt, 349 average, 469 on base percentage with 17 homers, and that's ball one. So you must, especially if you're a left-hander, tread softly when you face this guy. Although Bumgarner has done well against him for the most part. Goldschmidt hitting only 194 and 31 at bats against Bumgarner. However, on the other side, he's had 2 doubles and 2 homers against him. And that is a single.
The big concern the Diamondbacks have is getting enough pick protection for Goldschmidt. They'll go games where he just doesn't get a lot of pitches to hit. But when you challenge him, I mean, he has put up unbelievable numbers.
There's Chip Hale, Bay Area product. The manager, first-year manager of the D-backs. Yasmani Tomas. 331 average, 364 on base. Not hitting for much power so far, but I think if you hit 331, you think there's a number where, okay, not much power, but the guy's on base all the time, just like that. Another base hit. Goldschmidt's going to head for third, and Pagan will throw into second.
Well, I mean, your first job is to get a hit. Look, everybody would love a slew of doubles, triples, and home runs, but I mean, it's pretty hard to argue with 331, and that was before that swing of the bat. Now he's hit 335.
So let's say he's hitting 270, but he's got 10 home runs right now, but he's hitting 335.
I mean, a guy hitting 335, you have to find a place for him to play.
And the home runs may come. He's big and strong. His first go round at Major League Baseball. Here's Aaron Hill, the veteran. He's had a couple of home runs against Bumgarner in 30 at bats. And it's ball one. Bumgarner with 2 down in a little bit of a jam now. First and third for the D-backs. Field covered in the shadows. The hitter's backdrop, though, in the bright sunshine yet. And out at 421 in the big gap in right center. That's still lit up in the bright sun. There's a look at the hitter's backdrop. And Posey blocks that one, keeping Goldschmidt over there at third base.
One thing about this Arizona team, they don't have a problem scoring runs. They lead the National League in runs scored. They rank third in batting average. What has held them back is their pitching staff has a 4.41 ERA, and especially their bullpen has a 4.77 ERA. That is the Achilles heel. They don't have a problem with the bats. They can hit.
Now Hill asks for timeout.
And tonight there is lots of carry in this ballpark. This ballpark playing a little different than we had seen it play prior to this series. It's been cold. It is not cold tonight, and the ball in batting practice was jumping all over this ballpark.
The wind is blowing out as the game begins. 3-0 the count to Aaron Hill. And it's a little bit low. And now the bases are loaded.
That is the look of concern from Bruce Bochy.
Bumgarner got the first 2 hitters quickly. Inciarte on a pop up to short. He struck out Pollock. And then Goldschmidt a single to left. Tomas a single to center. Now Hill a 4-pitch walk. Bases loaded for Chris Owings. 241 average. There you see the runners. Goldschmidt, Tomas, and Hill from third back to first. The Giants are playing it pretty much straight away for Chris Owings. And that's a ball off the outside. Bumgarner's thrown 16 pitches and more out of the strike zone now than in.
Now Bruce Bochy is asking Mark Carlson where those pitches are. So there is a dialogue already going on with the Giants dugout and Carlson, the plate umpire.
Back to the screen, 1-1.
Bumgarner had to challenge in that 1-0 count. Owens was laying in the bushes on him. Had a good pitch to hit right there.
Jeff Francoeur hit a grand slam against Bumgarner. Although in that game he was leading 6-0 at the time when Francoeur took him deep. Bumgarner seemed to be breezing through that game, and then all of a sudden it was a walk, a bloop, and whatever, and then a grand slam. And the foul, 1-2 the count.
Well, one thing that is a plus in regards to what is happening on the mound right now with Bumgarner is he's got all 4 of his weapons. That's a good curveball. That's the same pitch he threw Pollock to strike him out, who's been a hot hitter. So the curveball has shown up early. He really has everything working. He just needs to get it to the corners that we normally see him exploit.
Another curve blocked by Buster Posey. Keeps it in front of him. The runners have to hold. 2-2.
Now that's right where Buster Posey wanted that curveball. He wanted the dirt between home and him.
Bumgarner rubs up the new ball. Every pitch very critical right here as the D-backs are threatening to jump ahead early. 3 men on, 2 men out. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Chris Owings. And picked up cleanly by Duffy for the force out. Tomas forced out, and the inning is over. The D-backs leave them loaded. Tough inning for Bumgarner, but he gets through it. The Giants coming up. Order now presented by Audi. Truth in engineering. Aoki so hot on the road trip. Left field. Joe Panic. He was hot on the trip. Second base. Pagan. He's not hot. Hoping to get hot now. Back home. Center field. Buster Posey. The catcher Brandon Belt. Back in there at first base. Had the night off last night. Brandon Crawford is hitting .360 with 3 home runs against Arizona so far this year. Matt Duffy third base. Justin Maxwell, right field, hitting 8th. Madison Bumgarner, the pitcher, bats 9th.
On the hill tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks will be the right-hander, Chase Anderson. And this is what he has done in 11 starts. 1-1 with a 3.12 ERA, 47 strikeouts against 15 walks. And when you take your at-bats against him, you're going to see a low 90s fastball with a curveball and a great changeup. And that really is his bread and butter.
Wow. He gave the low strike there to Aoki. Although Aoki's got kind of a low strike. He's down in a deep crouch. Back to Anderson. And Aoki is retired.
Let's take a look at the defense that the Arizona Diamondbacks will employ tonight. Starting in their outfield from left to right, it'll be Inciarte, Pollock, and Tomas. Good arms on the corner with Inciarte and Tomas. Ahmed and Hill will be on the left side of the infield. Owings and Goldschmidt on the right side. Wellington Castillo, he'll be in the squad, putting down the signs. Arizona defense, very good defense. Ranks 3rd in the National League.
Joe Panic, .323 average, 6 home runs. .386 on base average. The Giants' 2 hitters at the top of the order get on base a lot. Aoki, a .404 on base coming in, and Panic .386. That's what you want. Guys are on base all the time in front of the big power hitters. That's in there for a strike. In the dirt.
That's the changeup of Anderson. Anderson, a product of the University of Oklahoma. I mean, he really looks more like an infielder than he does a starting pitcher. 6'1", 195-pounder, but very athletic. Does all the things right that you need to do as a starting pitcher. Holds runners on, fields his position well.
Full count.
I always watch a guy's follow through, and you can pretty much tell if he's going to be a good fielder And that's what you are. After you throw a pitch, you become an infielder. And you want to have your feet balanced, and you want to be facing home plate. And Anderson has really nice balance. And he's in a great position to field after he throws.
Goldschmidt, the unassisted put out. Panic retired, 2 down. And now Pagano. Jared Parker resting his arms on the top of the railing there. And
there's Michael Broadway,
the new Giants relief pitcher, who's got his elbows up on the railing. Former teammates at Sacramento. Broadway brought up today with Hunter Pence being placed on the disabled list. I asked Jared Parker about him, and he said, wow, he throws hard. He was having a big year down there, big arm.
Well, that's what Hunter Pence said when he went down there and did some rehab and played a few games in Sacramento. He said the one guy you need to keep an eye on is this Michael Broadway. He's legit. Well, here he is.
Got by Anderson, but there is Ahmed. And just in time. A little double clutch there by Ahmed, but ultimately he got him. And the Giants are checking here. That's Ron Wotus on the phone to Sean Denston.
Take a look at the foot from Goldschmidt, the first baseman, as to whether or not his foot stayed in contact with the bag. I believe he did.
So the Giants go down in order. 3 groundouts against Anderson. Bumgarner back to work. No score after 1. Wellington Castillo, first ball hitting, is just lined a solid single to left against Bumgarner to start the second for Arizona.
Yeah, just to get it in, first pitch challenge. And Castillo jumping all over, a little topspin liner into left field. And just like that, Bumgarner right back in the stretch.
So here is Nick Ahmed. And that's in there for a called strike. Ahmed, who is in there for his defense. He's an excellent shortstop, but he is still learning how to hit. .217 average, .288 on base percentage. He has 3 home runs. That's a called strike to the inside. It's 0-2.
pretty straight away in the outfield. With the exception of Bell holding the run around pretty straight away in the infield.
Strike 3 called. Got him. He's out. Here is Amy G, who's in.
All right, guys, adding on to that newest Giant, Mike Broadway, I had a chance to speak to him today, and he was all smiles, saying it was an overwhelming feeling being called up. And, guys, that's because after 11 seasons in the minors, this is his first call-up to the big leagues. He said his struggles have made him a better pitcher. He also said he looked at his phone last night, did not recognize the number, usually doesn't pick those up, but decided to answer it. It happened to be Bobby Evans. He said he was really glad he picked up that call, and when he knew it was Bobby Evans, he was pretty sure it was going to be good news. John and Mike?
Well, that's the best possible call. I'm sure he despaired that he'd ever get that call at some point after 11 years in the minor leagues. And we're anxious to see him because he really put together a big year down there at Sacramento.
That indeed is the one call you hope you get the day you sign your first professional contract. And he finally got it after 10 years, paid his dues. By the way, nice play from Madison Bumgarner from the knees.
It looked like he really wanted to get Castillo at second base, but thought better of it. Now 2 down. Inciarte tried to knock in a run here. No score in the game. Castillo, the catcher, is the runner at second. Inciarte popped out to short his first time.
Got good speed. He will put pressure on the defense, especially the left side, a medium hit ground ball. And he will bunt at any time.
That goes out of play, back into the second deck. A ball and a strike. Madison Bumgarner, 7 wins, 2 losses, although a 3.38 ERA, which is not bad, but that's a high ERA for Bumgarner. He's given up 10 home runs this year in 79 innings pitched at the moment, including tonight. And that also will go back into the second deck off to the left.
He's got a good fastball now. You've seen him at 93, 94. He's not a max out guy. He doesn't throw as hard as he can. I think if he really wanted to go back and give you everything he had, he could go 95, 96. But he throws at a speed that he can control. Bumgarner, like a lot of great pitchers, it's all about commanding location with movement.
That's a base hit. And Wellington Castillo will score the first run of the game. So Inciarte delivers in the clutch for the D-backs.
And really a little bit of a hanger on the breaking ball, and we have not seen him hang that curveball all night until this pitch. So when you really are mad at yourself, you're heading the count 1-2, you throw a curveball and it flops right up there at the belt. That's an easy one for any hitter to defend. 2 strike, 2 out RBI. Nice at bat.
Inciarte with his 21st RBI of the year. And he's a threat to steal if you don't keep a close eye on him. And he's back to the bag. A.J. Pollock up to the plate. A very dangerous hitter who struck out his first time. Inciarte has 8 steals for the D-backs. A.J. Pollock hitting .324 with 8 home runs. And it's 0-1.
Changeup. Thrown a lot of his change. His changeup's a little bit different than other changeups because he throws it harder than other pitchers. If he averages 92, 93 with his fastball, you'll see changeups at 87, 88. Other pitchers are perhaps 4 miles per hour slower than what his differential is between the changeup and the fastball.
A ball and a strike.
You know, the one thing we always talk about 2-seam and 4-seam fastballs, and you can do the same thing with a changeup grip, a circle change grip. You can grip them with a 2-seam grip or a 4-seam grip, and one will be faster than the other. One will give you different movement than the other, just like the fastballs.
Right to Crawford, who swings it over to Panic with a force out on Inciarte. Goldschmidt stranded on deck. 1-0 Arizona. Buster Posey coming up. Perfect gift for you, for any Giants fan. It's the Father's Day gift pack, starting as low as $49. The gift pack includes tickets to 2 Giants games and World Champion cufflinks. That's 2 games plus the cufflinks. A perfect gift for Dad. sfgiants.com/mini pack. Look for the Father's Day pack options. They gave us some of those World Champion cufflinks, just to, I guess, for us to have a look. So I wore them to the White House last week.
Very cool.
And I'm wearing them tonight.
Yeah, they look nice.
I like them. I'm just going to wear them all the time now. Buster Posey, just a little bit low, apparently. Ball 1.
Yeah, I guarantee Chase Anderson's thinking, what is wrong with that pitch?
Ball 2. Buster hitting .296. I was a little surprised to see Buster in there tonight, much less catching. But Bruce Bochy contacted him by text message early today. And that is along the right field line, twisting foul into the crowd near the visiting bullpen. 2-1. And Buster said he felt great. He slept well on the plane last night. And the way Bochy asked him about it was, you're going to have a day off this weekend. So do you want it to be tonight or what do you think? Sharp to the third. Hill and Buster, who's not a fast runner, is out number 1. That's 4 straight grounders hit by the Giants against Anderson.
Well, I think Madison Bumgarner is one of those guys who's very, very persuasive with his catchers. And it kind of conversation would be between he and Posey. You feel pretty good, right, Buster? You're going to catch me, right? You're not taking a day off when I'm pitching, are you? So to me, I think that's pretty good power of persuasion.
Well, if it looks like it might be the best day to give him the day off is when Bumgarner's pitching, they'll call Bumgarner and ask him about it first. The D-backs going to the big overshift for Brandon Belt, who takes a strike.
I think text messaging is the greatest thing that ever happened with managers and players and coaches.
Why?
Well, just a simple communication of the things you're talking about. Just text a guy, how are you feeling? I mean, are you thinking about, there are no surprises for a manager when he gets to the ballpark. By the time Bruce Bochy gets to the ballpark for a night game, he has already contacted guys that he wants to be in that lineup. He asks them how they're feeling, and he pretty much knows what he wants to do before he gets there. In previous generations before text messaging, that was something that all had to get done when you had to just rely on your coaches or simply ask a player yourself. And I think when you do that back in the day before text messaging, you didn't have time to spend addressing other communication issues in your clubhouse. Some guys kind of fell through the cracks, guys who didn't play every day. You didn't maybe touch base with them. Well, text messaging, those guys get touch base with as well. So I think that's a plus for any manager who's trying to communicate with his team.
So the text message, that's still a personal way to do it. But you don't think they do it now. I don't know if Buster's going to play. I'm going to check his Facebook page.
No.
Or I'm going to see what he's saying on Twitter.
Let's see what his mood rhythms are, and we'll just run with those as to how we put together the lineup. No, but I do think that Bochy touches base not just with Buster Posey or Madison Bumgarner, but I think he touches base with Joaquin Arias. I think he touches base with Casey McGee, guys who aren't in the lineup every day.
3-2 the count. Belt, he went down for what might well have been ball 4. Fouled it off. Still 3-2.
All right. Mike Peckner, our ball dude tonight. Veteran ball dude making a play. Go ahead, Peck.
He's the ball dude. And if you want to know what the weather is or is going to be, he's the one to ask. And that's all for Brandon Belt. 2 down. Giants baseball is brought to you in part by Toyota. The summer's biggest blockbusters aren't in theaters. The biggest blockbuster is the Toyota Summer Blockbuster Sales Event. Get blockbuster deals on every Toyota in stock now. Brandon Crawford. Right to Goldschmidt. And that's the first real solid contact for the Giants in 2 innings. They're trailing 1-0. Goldschmidt coming up. Here at AT&T Park, I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow and Dwayne Kuiper. Kuiper's over on the radio side right now at KNBR. Dave Fleming is on assignment. We're not allowed really to say. There's a ball too high. 1 ball, no strikes to the dangerous slugger of the D-backs, Paul Goldschmidt. And as good as he's been, his start this year is at a different level. He's never been this good.
You know, he's always had the mechanics of a great swing. I mean, he's a short arm swinger, very powerful with a good inside out approach. I mean, how he's gotten better is that he knows his opponent so much better now than he did when he first got here. I mean, you have all those physical attributes, and then you also talk about how he thinks at the plate, and he really has become a very strong hitter mentally, and he creates a lot of opportunity for himself just the way he thinks in that batter's box.
3-0. Taking all the way, 3-1. Goldie, they call him in Arizona. And when you see that Tim Lincecum made the start last night and will miss this series, that's not really just a coincidence. Goldschmidt has just destroyed Lincecum. Oh man, that was so close, but called a ball and a walk for Goldschmidt.
All right, time now for our Ram Gutsy play. Last night in New York, at the bottom of the 7th, Javier Lopez gets Lucas Duda to ground into a rare 3-6-1 double play the hard way, and they made it look easy. And that's our Ram Gutsy play. Ram 1500 is Green Journal's 2015 Green Truck of the Year. Guts, glory, Ram. Visit ramtrucks.com to learn more.
That was just an amazing double play. And it was right after, or soon after, the Mets had tied the game in the 7th inning. They were threatening to go ahead. Here's Yasmani Tomas, who singled to center his first time. And it's 0-1. Blew a fastball right by him at 94 miles an hour. Down in San Diego, the Dodgers and Padres, no score, last of the 2nd. That matchup, Odrisamer Despaigne for San Diego and Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers at Petco Park. 0-2.
Well, one thing about Tomas, you don't have to throw him strikes. 155 at bats. He's walked 8 times. So he gets in that batter's box and he is in the swing mode.
Well, he swung and missed at 2 of those high fastballs. Goldschmidt at first, and pay him a call. Goldschmidt has 9 steals in 12 tries.
I think he's one of the best base runners in the game. We talk about the things he does in the batter's box to create opportunity. He does the same thing on the base pass. Great instinct.
Goldschmidt dives safely back. Well, Bumgarner had Goldschmidt a little bit confused on that last pitch. Goldschmidt was moving back toward the bag. And Tomas again going up after it, this time fouling it off.
Kind of going back to the bag now. He gets a little bit too leaky, and Buster Posey. Okay, maybe there's a shot down there to get him.
Got some of the red clay of AT&T Park behind his belt there.
Digging for gold with that belt buckle.
Stepped off the slab, gave him a little quick snap throw over there. Goldschmidt is back. Who was the best you ever saw at that?
The snap throw?
Yeah.
There's a guy, Terry Mulholland, I thought was the best I ever saw at that.
He really was famous for that move.
He would do it. He would set it up. He would come into the game, and he was like stretching his shoulders back and kind of, and then in that stretch back position, he'd go fwing, and he'd shoot a little snap throw to first base, and guys wouldn't even move. They didn't even see it coming. They thought he's out there just, stretching his shoulders.
So his was not just stepping off the slab and a quick throw. It was sort of an art form the way he did it.
Yeah, he had a little act that he would.
Strike 3 call.
See ya. Talk about how good this curveball's been in here. I mean, this thing comes from way out around the left-handed batter's box, and it just keeps wrapping in towards the strike zone. This is going to not look like a strike from this angle. I don't know if it indeed did cross home plate, but Carlson, the plate umpire, impressed. That's the only guy you have to impress.
Well, according to the Pitch FX on the MLB app, that will read as a correct call when he checks his DVD after the game.
And plate umpires get a report card after every game.
Aaron Hill walked his first time. 0-1 the count this time. That's Goldschmidt at first. Other than Belt on the bag with him, the rest of the infield is playing Hill to pull. That to Crawford, and he just could not get it in time to second base. Likely kept Goldschmidt from going to third. That's what he achieved ultimately. An infield hit for Hill.
Now this is a good play in itself, being able to prevent it from going in. And as he rolls over his glove, he just could not get in command of the baseball. But the point you make about denying 90 feet for Goldschmidt, that's exactly what he did by stopping the ball from going to center. And with 1 out, that's a significant play.
So 2 men on, and here is Chris Owings. He came up with the bases loaded in 2 down in the first inning. Now he's got 2 men on and 1 man out here in the third inning. Arizona leading 1-0. Owings hit into a force play to end the first. Goldschmidt at second, Hill at first. Owings shows bunt and takes ball 1.
Such a great camera shot from behind home plate of the big upper body turn that Madison Bumgarner gives a hitter. It's almost like that upper body unhinges, and his take back is way bigger than other guys.
2-0.
That's part of why he's good. Is he's deceptive. Not a pitcher that you easily time if you're hitting against him.
That's Goldschmidt at second and Hill at first. And foul on the third base side. Picked up by Andy Green, the third base coach.
A lot of pitches tonight for Bumgarner. That's unusual.
He's closing in on 50, and it's only the third inning.
At the end of the third inning, you want to be at 45 or less, so you get an idea of where he's at. If he gets a double play here and gets out of the inning, it's not really going to be an issue. But he has spent a lot of time in the stretch. He's been in the stretch every inning.
D-backs have had 7 men reach base in these first 3 innings. 2 on right now. Broken bat, caught by Crawford. And then as he tried to make the exchange, he dropped it. But the out is recorded. See if he could double up Goldschmidt at second base. And I don't know if he would have or not. Goldschmidt was out there a little bit when he first caught the ball. Wellington Castillo now, who singled and scored back in the second.
And he likes the first pitch. He beat Bumgarner on the first pitch his last at bat.
First pitch curveball. He wanted that one. 0-1.
The Giants got into San Francisco this morning around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Really don't know how long it took guys to get into bed and get some sleep. You ask, what is the one thing that a tired team? What is the worry you have if you're Bruce Bochy? Well, in one word, concentration. The ability to hold your concentration through a game. When you're a tired team, at times that can be a bit problematic.
Base hit. Aoki. Goldschmidt testing him. One hop. Buster's got it. There. He's out. And the inning is over. Andy Green set Goldschmidt, and a perfect throw by Aoki, and it was not close.
It's not a strong arm, but it's a quick release, and it's an accurate arm, and he nails it down right here.
Visiting sfgiants.com and casting your all-star votes for your favorite Giants. We want to take a moment out to congratulate the San Jose Giants gentlemen. They have named a league-high 6 players to the California League All-Star team. There you can see him, Tyler Beatty, who actually won't be able to participate. He's done so well, he was promoted to Double-A. Chase Johnson, Keury Mella, Dan Slanya, all pitchers, Hunter Cole, an outfielder, and Austin Slater, second base. Gentlemen, the game will be taking place on June 23rd in Rancho Cucamonga, California League versus the Carolina League All-Star Game. That is your Xfinity future focus, guys.
All right, so thanks, Amy G. Some good information there. Giants, who, when you look at their lineup, including this batter, Matt Duffy, they've got an entire infield of homegrown products. The pitcher tonight is homegrown, the catcher, and all these homegrown players have helped the Giants win a lot of games here, as evidence with their 3 World Series championships in 5 years. And San Jose has been one of the places that has been feeding talent to the Giants for a long, long time. Duffy down the left field line. It is foul. Just foul.
Wow. How foul was it? Foot and a half, 2 feet. As a hitter, though, you're leaving the box, you're thinking that's going to be fair, and you already put that in your doubles column. So you have to come back, regroup a bit. All right, let's check out our security guard getting out of the way of the ball. He's hopping up on the wall.
Wow.
That's above and beyond the Call of Duty right there.
He's rehearsed that.
I think he hurt himself.
On the right field line, foul. 1-2 the count to Matt Duffy facing Chase Anderson, the right-hander. The Giants have not put a man on base yet. This game's been kind of lopsided, even though it's a 1-0 score, Arizona. Out of play.
All right, one more look at our ball dude, or our security ball dude. See, that's what happens when you're a ball dude and you don't wear a cup. You got to get out of Dodge.
And you can see he was a little out on the front foot there, but he kept the hands back and swatted out on that changeup.
And I think he does that because we've watched him go to right field so well. And against a changeup pitcher like Anderson, that's your best asset. Pick the opposite way. Your hands will always be in position to help you.
Duffman at the plate. And again, something even softer. He got a piece of it. Castillo and Anderson talk it over.
Got the little short brimmed catcher's hat. Let's take a look at the play that ended it for the Diamondbacks in the top of the third. Beautiful play from Nori Aoka, who really has had an all-star first half with the glove, with the bat. You cannot run up there and put it on a tee any better for a catcher to put on a tag than that throw. Absolutely perfect.
Look out. That got him. So Duffy ends up getting on base to start off the inning. That one hit his loose-fitting shirt.
Yeah, if you're going to get hit by a pitch, that's how you want to do it. And that's the first base run the Giants have had. And we'll see Chase Anderson out of the stretch for the first time tonight because of that at bat.
So now Justin Maxwell will come up. Maxwell hit a long home run a couple of nights ago in New York. Off the end of the bat this time into fairly shallow left center. Inciarte, and just like that, one away. So Bumgarner will come up. 5 for 27 so far this year. He's got 1 home run. Arizona's had 6 hits in this game. They've also received 2 walks. They've had 8 men reach base in these first 3 innings. Duffy was the first Giant to reach base. Bumgarner is up for the first time. Arizona's already had 7 of their hitters up twice in the game already. But the Giants only down by a run. And it's 0-1 to Bumgarner. And that changeup starting it out here from Chase Anderson. Whoa. Wow. He's been putting the ball where he's wanted to put it all night long until that one.
Well, and that was with a fastball, too. That's hard to explain. And really, Castillo, he's sitting outside. I mean, too much stickum on your hand, I guess.
By the way, Duffy took off on that pitch, so he actually gets credit for a stolen base. I'm going to get another soft one.
That's a good changeup.
So it's a ball and 2 strikes now to Bumgarner. Aoki is on deck. Giants have a runner in scoring position for the first time. And just the only base runner they've had in the game. Roberto Kelly hoping to get some action over there in the third base coaching lines. Runner backs away. And the spin move. Duffy back to the bag at second. They don't seem to be anxious to throw this next pitch to Bumgarner.
Yeah, maybe they sense something bad is about to happen.
So now he's ready again. Looking at second. And the curveball in the dirt. So now it is 2-2. He's throwing the only fastball he threw, as you described it, Mike, was the pitch that was about 5 feet outside.
Well, maybe. I really can't explain how that happened. When we watched this guy just carving up the strike zone and everything, to have a fastball that you miss the strike zone with by 6 feet.
Full count now.
But clearly, he does not have the same command out of the stretch that he does out of the windup.
And that's an interesting point right there. Now, if this was Buster Posey with first base open, you'd say, well, he's probably pitching around Buster. With all these changeups and curveballs and whatnot. But this is the pitcher, the opposing pitcher. The guy on deck is hitting .336. Aoki.
Now you're right. I mean, granted, Bumgarner is the incumbent Silver Slugger Award winner. And he can hit. But you're right. I mean, he's still a pitcher. You got to go after him.
And he was a little out front of that fastball. Still 3-2. You think, does that get in your head a little bit? Wait a minute, I've just been throwing him 79, 75, 74, and now I threw him my 90, and he was early on it.
He pulled me. Yeah, it does. It doesn't make you want to throw another fastball.
3-2 to Bumgarner. Duffy at second. And back to the changeup for the walk. Not Toyota by the numbers. The summer's biggest blockbuster isn't in theaters. It's Toyota's summer blockbuster sales event. Get blockbuster deals on every Toyota in stock now. Most infield hits. Nori Aoki has 16 already. The Giants have played 61 games. He got 16 infield hits. Only D. Gordon of Miami has more. The Diamondbacks' A.J. Pollock has 13. So Aoki, he doesn't want necessarily the infield hit right now. He'd like to get a clean single to the outfield and knock Duffy in. He's 0 for 1 in this game. He hit one right back to Chase Anderson, leading off the game. Duffy at second, Bumgarner at first. Chase Anderson, one thing, since he's gone into the stretch in this inning, his pace has just been so slow. Ball one.
Just not getting ahead of the hitters out of the stretch like he was out of the windup.
Duffy, the runner at second, the possible tying run, runs well. Bumgarner, he's a pitcher, over at first, the pickoff play, safely back. Duffy as Ahmed broke in behind him from shortstop. D-backs outfield plays Aoki a little bit deeper than most outfields that we've seen. Joe Panic on deck. That's a called strike.
It's a 1-0 fastball. They set that target on the outside corner, and it comes across on the inside corner. And this tells you a lot about Carlson, the umpire. A lot of umpires don't give that pitch if it's not between the knees, especially if it's on a corner, but he does not. He has his zone, and he sticks to it. And I've always liked umpires that were that way.
Caught at third, and that will be an inning-ending double play. Aaron Hill with the leaping catch as that ball was scalded by Aoki, but into some bad luck for the Giants. On to the fourth. Dwayne Kuiper will come over from radio.
Post-game live. And also check out NBC Bay Area for Investigative Unit, the largest on-air team of investigative journalists. NBCBayArea.com/investigations. NBC Bay Area, we investigate. Well, we're back here at AT&T. 1-0 Diamondbacks. We're in the top of the fourth inning, and here to tell you all about it, Dwayne Kuiper.
All right. Thanks, Mike. So Bumgarner has been Senior Houdini tonight.
It has been a little of a weird strike zone. It hasn't been as consistent as we've seen Carlson, the plate umpire, in the past, but he's worked through it.
And just like that, he's going to be back in the stretch. Is Nick Ahmed with a base hit.
Well, that's 3 innings in a row where the Diamondbacks have gotten that leadoff hitter on base. And that's tough, right back in the stretch, like you said.
Well, look, the Diamondbacks have stranded 6. They've had a guy thrown out at home. So you're almost shocking that the game, it's 1-0. So Chase Anderson is going to be the hitter. Anderson shows bunt, and he bunts it foul. If he had bunted that fair, Belt would have gone to second.
I think that's one of his strengths as a defensive first baseman, his ability to throw. And he really anticipates it. I mean, that's the one thing you're taught to do anyway. It's a corner infielder or a pitcher coming in on a bunt. Anticipate that lead bag. Get your lower body in position to throw it to second if it's there.
And this is a good bunt, and Belt has got only one play. Well, there's no better way to kick off your summer than going to the Giants game at AT&T Park. Get $10 off all tickets to the day game on Tuesday, the 16th. Go to sfgiants.com/tickets. Use the coupon code SUMMER. Here's Inciarte, who slapped a hanging breaking ball into center field to knock in the only run of this game. Rolls this one to Belt on the play. Ahmed will go to third. 2 outs. And that'll bring up A.J. Pollock.
Well, that was a gift too. 1 pitch out. He needs a few of those. This pitch count a little bit high.
Pollock is 0 for 2. He struck out and bounced out. And the first pitch is a curveball down low.
An interesting discussion with Bob Brenly before the game about the D-backs and the fact that they scored more runs in the National League than anybody else. And he says, well, the guy who deserves to go to the All-Star game is Goldschmidt and A.J. Pollock. He says he's really been a good player.
There's a strike.
Goldschmidt, the first baseman, you figure he's going to be in the All-Star game every year. His whole career, he's that good. But for Pollock, it really has been a breakout season for him.
Well, 3:26 coming into the game. And he chases that breaking ball. It's now 1-2. He does have, he's got a little bit of ownage on Bumgarner. He's hit for the cycle against Bumgarner. And he has pitched with 2 outs and a runner at third. He's pitched in every inning Bumgarner has. Two and 2 as he just pushes him off the plate just a little bit.
Hard stuff in, always sets up soft stuff away. Posey slowing things down. Bumgarner wants the breaking ball.
Got him. Posey blocks it and throws it, and that'll end the inning. So good job by Bumgarner. Panic, Pagan, Posey coming up. Murphy's fresh made, fresh baked. Love at 425 degrees. Who's hot? Who do you think's hot? How about the guy hitting right now? Look at those numbers.
Well, 15-game hitting streak, but hitting .391 with 4 homers and 5 doubles. That's hot.
And here he's facing Anderson, who starts him off with a called strike.
First pitch changeup. That is a good changeup. That's legit about Anderson's stuff. His changeup is as good as there is.
Lifted to left where Inciarte's waiting, and that'll be out number 1.
Right now, time for our BMW Drive, the ultimate drive machine at BayAreaBMW.com. Joe Panik, 2 home runs as he came home to his hometown, New York City. He took Dylan G deep on Tuesday, and then it was Matt Harvey on Wednesday. Those are our BMW drives.
Pagan bounced out to short. Giants have been playing good baseball, and Angel Pagan's been cold. So they're looking for him to get hot. Swing and a foul at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Oh, he had a rough road trip, 3 for 24. In the last 3 games, I mean, right now he's got an 0 for 11 going. If you count his first at bat tonight.
You know, there was a while there he was in the 340s, 350s.
Yeah, had a nice start this season.
Out of play down the left field line.
Coming back from surgery last season, you really didn't know physically if he was going to be able to play every day, and he's absolutely answered that challenge. Now he's got a little bit of a funk going offensively. See, you catch the ball and everybody gets happy.
You meet someone.
I mean, you don't think he was with that
girl?
girl?
No, I don't. High fastball chased by Pagan and another souvenir. See? Yeah. Friends for life. You don't need any of those dating services. You just come to the park.
Well, if I was single, I'd take a box of baseballs to a bar. You know, you could meet a lot of people.
Down low to Pagan, 2-2. Well, a long time ago I tried that. It worked.
Well,
you know, if you're in a slump. Look at, see? Yeah.
He's sitting on that guy's lap. Dude!
You are totally in my space. I can't even eat these chips properly. You're killing me. Just slide over. He's gonna just kind of bop him in the back of the head. Hey!
He's gonna stick a corn chip in his ear.
Hey! Up the middle. Owings throws him out.
Good play.
Good play. And here's Posey. Posey bounced out to third in the second. Swing and a miss. No balls and 1 strike.
Boy, he guessed right there. He was looking fastball, middle away, up.
One ball and 1 strike. Belt is on deck. Just off the plate, 2 balls and a strike. Posey fouls it back. Yet another good rip.
just so deceptive with the arm action on that changeup. And that last pitch was an 80-mile-an-hour changeup after he's established 89, but it's the identical arm action. He really sells that changeup well.
Posey hits one high to right field. Tomas on the track, and he puts it away to end the inning. All right. Don't not mess with Marty the Marine right there, pal.
Dude. For high quality and great MPG, Ford is the right choice for California. Opening day in Arizona, April 6th. Madison Bumgarner, he was the winning pitcher. 7 strong innings, 6 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and he did it all in 93 pitches. And that's our Ford right choice.
Here's Goldschmidt, and Bumgarner starts him off with a called strike.
This is one of those key matchups. We talk about Goldschmidt. Has not been getting pitched to a lot of lately.
And he's got a base hit. This Bumgarner throws his left arm in the air like, what the heck is going on here?
Well, it makes you so mad as a pitcher because the ball goes right by you and you think, well, I could make a play, and then you look around and it's trickling into the outfield and you're just not happy.
So, second, third, fourth, now the 5th. The leadoff hitter has gotten on.
This is one of those nights.
Down low to Tomas. Bumgarner wanted it.
He gave it a long look in.
And he let Mark Carlson know.
And Carlson's been a little inconsistent tonight for both pitchers.
Two and 0.
Take a look at the setup in the outside corner, right to the glove. And we've seen balls that have been caught further outside that have not been called, and that's the inconsistency that frustrates a pitcher and a catcher.
So what does Tomas get? He gets count leverage and he fouls it out of play.
But you know, he's not the normal hitter because he just doesn't take walks. I mean, he wants to swing the bat, so you can still throw balls out of the strike zone and he'll chase them. Whereas if a normal hitter, if you give him a 1-0 count as opposed to an 0-1 count, I mean, he really can use that against you. You have to attack that strike zone.
Duffy, panic, Belt. Around the horn, 2 down.
Now, I want you to talk about this pivot, Kite. You know Goldschmidt's got good speed, and he will make contact with the second baseman.
Well, he's also, he's got a little weight behind him, too. So if he gets to you, he can hurt you. But you just got to get in the air, and if he dumps you, all he's going to do is flip you.
So the key is getting that left foot up.
Get up. But he plays hard, and it's a clean slide. He close enough where he could get his hands on the base. Hill has been on base twice. He's walked, and he had an infield hit in the third. The Giants in the bottom of this inning will have Belt, Crawford, and Duffy. Two balls and a strike. So it just hasn't been a crisp night for Bumgarner.
But, in a way, that really is an indication of a guy that can pitch and make whatever he has work on a night where it's not really going his way. Keep your team in the game. Give him a chance to win, even when your best stuff is not there, or you have a tough strike zone to work with.
And a base hit past Duffy, bringing Chris Owings to the plate. For comprehensive coverage of everything orange and black, check out Pregame Live and Postgame Live before and after every Giants telecast on Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports. Here's Owings. He's bounced out and he's hit a soft line drive to Crawford. Kershaw and the Dodgers lead the Padres 2-0 that game in the fourth inning. So they're still on pace. Kershaw and Bumgarner. They're just on pace to face each other.
It's going to happen again.
There's a strike. King Felix pitched tonight. Got knocked around really bad by the Astros. And that'll be a matchup that'll open up the Seattle series between the Giants and the Mariners. Bumgarner, Hernandez. 2 balls, 1 strike to Chris Owings. And that's out of play, 2-2.
Hernandez got 1 out today. Gave up 8 runs in the first.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And a soft toss. Chasing Hill back. 1-0 D-backs. D-backs have had many opportunities. The Giants, 1. And Aoki nearly tied it up with a line drive to third. Got him, and that'll end the inning. Giants do not have a hit. Belt, Crawford, Duffy coming up.
app. Download the McD app on your smartphone and get great deals at a participating Greater Bay Area McDonald's. Visit McDapp.com.
Well, it's time to cast your vote for your Giants to be part of the 2015 MLB All-Star Game. And we're not just talking about getting there. We're talking about the starting lineup. Go to sfgiants.com/vote. Cast your vote through Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. So here's Belt.
I voted, by the way.
Did you?
Today.
Well, I appreciate your vote. As Belt takes down low, 1 ball and no strikes.
I write you in every year.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It does me good knowing I got 1. Belt shoots one out to the second baseman Owings, who's in shallow right field. All right, let's check in with Amy G on this Friday night. Amy?
All right, gentlemen. Matt Cain slated to start for the AAA Sacramento Rivercats on Monday. I spoke with him briefly today about what he would like to see come out of that rehab start, and he said he feels really good about his fastball and his changeup, but his breaking ball stuff has been hit or miss, so he wants to focus on that. He also wants to get deeper into the game. He said he's working on his pitch count. He said what's keeping him patient through this rehab process is he knows he needs to build up that pitch count, so when he does get back to this level, he'll be able to help his team the way he would like to. Gentlemen?
Well, the Giants need him back.
Well, they do, and I mean, if you think about it, if they could get him back and get him back healthy, I mean, you're going to see arm action and a fastball that you haven't seen from him in a couple years. Because he's had bone chips in his elbow that have really restricted his extension in his arm action. Now he's made it work and he's had a great career, but now those chips are gone, and he's got more extension with his arm action. It's more whip-like, very free and easy. The curveball there. So I think the Giants are pretty excited about what they could possibly get back with Cain. And they're being very patient with him.
So here's Duffy. Duffy hit by a pitch in the third. Duffy had the closest thing to a hit for the Giants, and that was a line drive down the left field line that was fouled by about 6 inches. And he takes the curveball for a strike.
And there have been some hard hit line drives that people have been caught. But you look up in the hit column and there's a big 0 there.
0-2.
Anderson has picked up a better curveball this inning than he showed early in the game, too. This is Aoki with 1 out, runs at first and second. Aaron Hill spears one, and they double up Duffy at second.
So Duffy a magnet right now.
Well, he got hit by a pitch in his last at bat, kind of grazed his jersey in a 1-2 count. Here he's in an 0-2 count. And we're talking about how good this curveball's been. Well, not this time. They set up away, and this is a high curveball, hits him in the shoulder. So an 0-2 gift with 2 outs here. I don't think that's going to leave a bruise.
So here's Maxwell. High and away to Maxwell. 1 ball and no strikes. Maxwell got a breaking ball up, and he took a good swing at it, but he popped it to left field and is only at bat in the 3rd inning. And that's going to go over the backstop. A wild pitch.
You know, for as well as Anderson has pitched tonight, and as well he's been able to command his pitches, he's throwing some pitches tonight you can't even explain. I mean, here's another one that hits way out the left-handed hitter's batter's box, bounces off the forearm of Wellington Castillo, goes right in the stands. And he's been wild. He's been beyond wild.
Tying run now at second base. Out of play. With the ability of Bumgarner to give you a good at bat, it really means that Maxwell may very well get something to hit. Three and one.
Easy takes. Those are easy takes. Now, if he's going to get a pitch, he's going to get a challenge here.
Maxwell asks for time. So Bumgarner watching. Swing and a miss. 3-2.
3-1 changeup and a good one. And I would expect him to make a pitch very similar to what you just saw. It's not going to be a belt high BP fastball.
And he got underneath it to center field. But it's going to be Inciarte who called off Pollock for whatever reason, I don't know. And that's going to end the inning. Sixth inning coming up. 1-0 D-backs. We're building a better California. It's a 1-0 lead for the Diamondbacks. And it'll be Castillo to lead things off, and he takes a strike. Castillo's 2 for 2. Bumgarner's allowed 1 run on 9 hits. 9 hits. And 0-2.
Pretty remarkable. I mean, he allowed 2 hits in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, and yet they've only managed to get the 1 run off him.
Got him. 3-pitch see you later to Wellington Castillo. Strikeout number 6, and here's Nick Ahmed. Ahmed struck out looking in the second and then singled off of Bumgarner in the fourth. Swing and a miss. 93 above the belt. It's 0-1. Nine hits for the D-backs. The Giants don't have any. And the fastball is high to even the count.
One of the few pitches that he's really gotten underneath tonight. He's not missed high often tonight. When he's gone high with the pitch, he's done it on purpose. For the most part, when he's been out of the strike zone, he's been below it.
1-2. Foul back. Ahmed had a pitch to hit, but he shoots it into the seats. .82 pitches for Madison Bumgarner. Two and two. Full count. So Bumgarner really jumped out in front of Nick Ahmed, and now he's got to come in for the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He's trying to strike him out. You can do that when you jump ahead 0-2, 1-2. And now all of a sudden you try to make the perfect pitch, get him to swing at something out of the strike zone.
And you walk them.
And you walk them. So really a pretty good at bat there from Ahmed to go from behind the count to the walk.
Well, Anderson's going to bunt for the 3rd straight time, and he's been successful both times. Along with the 9 hits for Arizona, Arizona has had 3 hitters walk. And a snap throw to first.
They'll check that one out. A little sneak attack from Joe Panik from behind from the second base position. And I think they got him. Ryan Gorman, the crew chief, first base umpire, not making the call.
No, I think they missed him, Mike.
I agree with you from that angle right there.
Yep, he missed him.
Right here from our view, we thought he had him.
Now look, it's the 6th inning, and Bruce Bochy gets the word. I saw what we saw.
Yeah, if the throw was a bit lower, it would have been money.
But a good call.
No question from that view, he's safe.
And the bunt to Belt. Belt with a perfect throw and a double play. And that'll end the inning. They get it anyway. The ability of that first baseman to throw. by your Barracuda networks. Cloud connected security and storage solutions designed to simplify IT. Reclaim your network with Barracuda. Here at AT&T Park in front of another sellout crowd, it's a 1-0 lead for the Diamondbacks as Madison Bumgarner is going to lead things off. Oh yeah.
Put a ring on it.
There's the future bride to be. I don't know how you can tell, but sometimes it's just the glow.
That may be the best veil tiara I've ever seen.
Here's Bumgarner. Bumgarner walked in the third. Giants do not have a hit. We're in the 6th inning. No balls and 1 strike. I think Bumgarner's trying to do. Tie it up.
Tie it up and maybe hit a home run that is so far that you get 2 runs for it.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Why not? You have the power to do it.
In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Low, 3-1.
Now this is count leverage that he lives for. Chance to hit, head the count. Ooh.
So it's 3-2.
I mean, you don't say that very often with a pitcher hitting. Oh, a 3-1.
No, I know.
And he just misses. But as big and as strong and as far as he can hit the ball, you say it.
Out of play, got another challenge. Last time he walked Bumgarner, I think it was a 3-2 breaking ball or changeup.
I think you're right.
Not so this time. Back-to-back fastball challenge. We'll see what he does here. And he hits a line drive right at Nick Ahmed.
Another Adam ball. Giants just cannot find a base hit tonight against Anderson. Meanwhile, talking about double plays, Giants have gotten 2 tonight. This one from Yasmani Tomas. With Goldschmidt bearing in on Panic, they turn it. You see the reaction from Bumgarner. And here, with Anderson putting the bunt down, a great play from Brandon Bell. Totally makes the play with the throw to Crawford, who turns it over. And Panic's there to gather in the back end of it.
O'Keefe to left, and it's right at Inciarte. So 2 line drives here in the 6th, and that'll bring up Panic.
The Giants just experienced a no-hitter in New York. At what point in time do you start thinking about the no-hitter more than the game?
Yeah, you do if it's a little bit more of a lopsided score. Panic is bounced out and flied out, and he takes wide, 1-0. And that's just foul. So it's a ball and a strike.
Ball due Ben Peckner finally get a chance to make a play, finding a friend.
One and 2.
Another good changeup. Panic has had a problem with that changeup off of Anderson tonight.
2-2.
When you're identifying off-speed pitches, it's a lot easier to identify a curveball because of the spin you see as a hitter than it is the changeup, because the changeup spin is identical to the spin of the fastball.
Ahmed's got it, and that'll end the inning. John Miller, he'll be back here in the 7th. He'll take you the rest of the way. It's 1-0 D-backs.
Bay Area app. You can see breaking news and investigations from NBC Bay Area News, plus your favorite NBC shows live and on demand. Simply download the NBC Bay Area app, select Watch TV Now. From the menu, enter in your television account information. You're good to go. NBC Bay Area app, 1-0 D-backs. Top of the 7th inning. Here is John Miller.
And for Arizona, the top of the order, Inciarte takes ball 1. He has knocked in the only run of this game. The only left-handed hitter in the Arizona lineup against the lefty Bumgarner has been the only guy to knock in a run. He bluffs the bunt, takes a called strike.
And it really has been one of the few breaking balls that Bumgarner has missed with tonight. It was a 1-2 curveball. He hung right at the belt. And he made him pay.
Off the mound, Crawford. And he got him. Inciarte hustling up the line. He's got speed, but a very strong throw for the out from Brandon Crawford.
Inciarte does not give you a lot of time if you're an infielder, especially on the left side of the field. And Crawford knew all this. Quickly sets up, and boy, he can make up some serious ground with his arm. And in the end, not even close.
1 out, A.J. Pollock, and he fouls it off the foot. Pollock, who began the night hitting over 400 against left-handed pitching, but so far Bumgarner has struck him out twice and gotten him to hit into a force out once. After Pollock, then the big Arizona hitter, one of the best in the game, Paul Goldschmidt. 1 out, nobody on. At the knees for a strike. 0-2.
You know, at the very least, if you look at all the things that Bumgarner does for you, I mean, tonight he's into the 7th inning here, and he's cruising on a night when he really had to take the ball and go deep and give his bullpen a breather.
Oh, 2. High and foul. Out of play.
And when you get that reputation as an innings eater, I mean, it will allow a manager to manage a game a little bit differently. Go to his bullpen a little bit more prior to your start, knowing that when you come up and take your start, you're going to eat some innings up and you're going to give your bullpen a day off.
0-2 the count. Too high. Well, he did that same thing last Saturday in his most recent start before tonight in Philadelphia. As the Giants, Tim Lincecum had only gone 5 innings on Friday night. Bumgarner gave him 8, even though he allowed 5 runs. 2-2. He threw extremely well in that game, made a couple of mistakes, and both hit for home runs, including the grand slam by Francoeur. Went 8 innings and threw 98 pitches is all. Two and 2 pitch. Curveball. Joe Panic. 2 down. Pollock gave him a battle. And now Goldschmidt. And Bumgarner has not retired Goldschmidt so far tonight. He's had 2 singles and a walk. The D-backs have not had a single inning where they have not put a man on base. They've had base runners all night long. 12 base runners in the first 6 innings of this game. Called a strike with that curveball. The Giants have turned 2 double plays. And also, Aoki threw out a runner trying to score at home plate. That was Paul Goldschmidt to end the 3rd inning. Goldschmidt is hitting .355 for the year right up to the moment. Blew a fastball by him after that curveball, and it's 0-2.
It's good life on the fastball at 93 miles per hour. But he set it up beautifully with the first pitch off speed curveball to get 0-1. Then he followed it right back up, fastball, bang, bang. And even a guy with a quick swing, a little overmatched by the fastball.
2 down, nobody on. And he lays off that high fastball. Goldschmidt, by the way, at .355 right at the moment. D. Gordon, leading the league in batting average at the start of the day, is also hitting .355 after his game. Just a little bit low.
That's a good pitch, and that's a good take. Not an easy take either. Now you see the pitch is 100 on the night. 20 in the first, 19 in the third. A lot of stretch time for Bumgarner.
Two and 2. Curveball, foul off the right field line.
Bumgarner has not had a 1-2-3 inning. He had an inning in the 6th where he faced 3 guys, but he still had a 1-out walk that eventually got erased by a double play. But he has been in the stretch every inning.
Giants turned an excellent double play to end that inning. 2 down, nobody out here in the 8th. Struck him out. 3 up and 3 down. And that's 8 strong in the books for Bumgarner, although he's still trailing. Pagan, Posey, Belt coming up.
Aquarium, dance, dash, and dive into summer with thousands of synchronized sardines in the open sea exhibit. Share the amazing, share the love at MontereyBayAquarium.org/love.
On to the last half of the 8th inning. The Giants have not had a hit. We have a subplot in this game. Chase Anderson, who is doggedly protecting that 1-0 lead. He's been ahead since the 2nd inning. At the same time, he carries a no-hitter into the 8th inning. So Pagan will lead off for the Giants. Giants' best hard hit balls, and they've had a few of them, have been right at people. And there's ball 1 to Pagan, who has grounded out twice. Buster Posey on deck. At the knees, called a strike. Dodgers leading in San Diego 2-0. Last of the 6th inning, back of Clayton Kershaw down there on the out-of-town scoreboard. Back is Inciarte, and there, one away.
Think about this Arizona defense in the outfield between Inciarte and Pollock, the center fielder. I mean, you get a lot of coverage. They don't have great coverage with Tomas in right field. But if you hit the ball from right center to the left field line, you basically have 2 center fielders covering that neck of the woods.
Buster Posey 0 for 2. And the high fastball fouled back out of play. Buster drove one into right center that was caught on the warning track near the 365 marker his last time. Right now there's almost no wind blowing, just a little bit of a breeze blowing out. That's it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
When the wind doesn't blow, it really becomes an offensive ballpark. It has not been that case tonight.
2-1 to Buster Posey. Buster grounded out to third his first time and then hit that long fly ball out toward right center his last time. Off! Anderson. Buster Posey, infield hit. The first hit of the game for the Giants. And the second part is, after losing the no-hitter, how is Anderson?
Well, he's drawing a crowd right now. He's trying to walk it off. It looked like a one-hopper that came up and got him in the leg, and he showed some immediate discomfort.
Ken Crenshaw is the head trainer for the D-backs.
Got him on the right side of his right leg below the knee. Right leg comes down, plants, bang. Oh, I got him in the calf. And that can knot up in a hurry. It can definitely break your concentration. But the Giants get a hit. I mean, that becomes almost something that completely dominates the dugout, and you're thinking more about getting that first hit than you are about game situations. So now that is erased here with 1 out in the 7th.
Well, he's going to stay in the game as Brandon Belt comes up, but the D-backs bullpen will get busy. Randall Delgado, a right-hander, runs down, and also he's going to be joined out there by Oliver Perez, a left-hander. So Delgado, the right-hander, Perez, the left-hander. There's nobody at third base. That's wide open at the moment. And Belt fouled off the left field line into the crowd. Giants are down by a run. The third baseman, Hill, is over at shortstop. And 3 infielders to the right side of second. Out of play again.
Yeah, pretty good balance in that swing on the changeup.
Actually, by the way, Ahmed is still at shortstop. He stayed at short, and it is Hill, the third baseman, who is now the second baseman, and Owings is in between second and first as the third man on the right side. That's Hill on the edge of the outfield grass. 0-2 to Belt.
Right now, he's not taking his legs out with any of the mixture of speeds that he's showing Brandon Belt. I mean, Belt's seen 3 different pitches, 3 different speeds, and he's been on everything.
1-0. The Giants are trailing. They just got their first hit, and that was an infield hit off the leg of Chase Anderson. The outfield is extremely deep. 2 strikes to Brandon Belt. High fly ball, medium left center. Inciarte. Posey tags at first and bluffs towards second. Inciarte's got a strong arm. Fires all the way through as Buster goes back.
And that's a belt that Belt's going to be thinking about for a while. I mean, he really was seeing him well. He had pretty good balance on all those swings. So now it's going to come down to a 2-out knock.
Brandon Crawford, who has been the Giants' RBI leader this year. He had a dramatic home run last night in New York in the 6th inning against the left-hander. But the Giants down by a run, a 2-run homer that turned that game around, at least for a while. Bumgarner looking on from the dugout. Nobody up in the Giants bullpen. Crawford has been 0 for 2 tonight. Aaron Hill got a tough hop, played it cleanly, and the inning is over. 8 shutout innings, allowing 1 hit for that man, Chase Anderson, and a 1-0 lead as we go to the 9th.
Song, anything you can do, I can do better. It's a motto that the Giants heavy hitters have adopted so far this season. It's been a friendly competition amongst the offense. Now, it may not be showing tonight, but it certainly has been showing lately. Joe Panic, Matt Duffy had a little home run competition going on that was dubbed Tortoise versus Tortoise. Matt Duffy with 5 home runs. Joe Panic just edged past him with 6. Now Belt, Crawford, and Posey have a little home run contest going on as well. Belt has 8. Both Crawford and Posey have 9. Justin Maxwell's thrown his hat into that home run ring. Joe Panic told me today that after he homered the other day, he told Brandon Belt, "I'm coming for you." And Belt said, "Enjoy it, gentlemen."
Well, we'd like to see one of them hit one tonight.
Yeah, or both could hit it tonight. It'd be fine.
Yes, Manny Tomas with a count of 1 ball and no strikes facing Bumgarner as we start the 8th inning. 7 strong innings for Chase Anderson. If I said 8, it was actually correctly 7. And that's a called strike to Tomas. And maybe Anderson's going to be out of the game now. He's thrown 96 pitches, and the D-backs have their bullpen working just as they come up. Daniel Hudson, a hard-throwing right-hander, is warming up. Giants have bullpen activity as well. It's going to be a long throw. Crawford got it. Tomas, who's not a real fast runner, but that's a long throw from the outfield.
Well, and Crawford knows everything about it, what kind of speed he has coming out of the box. Now, it takes him all the way into left field, but he knows he's got time to get his legs set. And once he can get his legs underneath him, he can unleash the cannon. And in the end, he had him by about 15 feet.
So now Aaron Hill, and a curveball for a strike. Hunter Strickland is up in the Giants bullpen. Bumgarner had thrown 102 pitches through 7 innings. Here's Strickland. Mark Gardner, the bullpen coach, alongside. And that curve in the dirt. Well, Bumgarner has been tested in this game. He had to work through a lot of difficulties, and he's now at 107 pitches. And for a good long while, most of his pitches were thrown out of the stretch. D-backs who put 12 men on base in the first 6 innings of this game. High pop-up, panic going out. Maxwell in. 2 down. On Sunday, the 2nd annual Gamer Day at the ballpark will be presented by Half Moon Bay Brewing Company. Mike Krukow. You didn't tell me about this.
I will be there.
He'll be joined by special Giants guests for a pregame Q&A panel. There's a special ticketed gamer package, including a ticket to see the Giants D-backs, access to the pregame Baseball Insiders Q&A panel with Mike Krukow, and a gamer driver cap. sfgiants.com/special events. So where's that going to be? No, let's say I got the special event package.
Yeah.
Where would I have to be to?
Well, you'd have to get here early, because at 10 o'clock in the morning is when we're going to do it. Right on the first base side. We'll be on the top of the dugout.
In the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Chris Owings, who's 0 for 3.
And that'll be fun. Get out the yard early. Talk some ball. Have some interesting perspectives from people that you didn't even quite know yet. Brandon Bell will be there.
Maxwell going back now. Slows up right at the edge of the track. And that's the inning. So Bumgarner has gone 8. And the last 2 without allowing a base runner. Duffy coming up for the Giants.
Before the final game of this series, and we'll be back with you on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network next Friday night, June 19th at 7 for the Giants and the Dodgers from Dodger Stadium in Chavez Ravine.
We're at AT&T Park, and we're heading to the last of the 8th inning. The Giants have only 1 hit, but they're trailing by only 1 run. as the last third of the batting order is coming up, and the D-backs go to their bullpen. Daniel Hudson, hard-throwing veteran, in relief of Anderson, and that begs the question. Anderson, who finally gave up a hit, was an infield hit off his leg. He's at 96 pitches only. Is it the pitch count, or you think that the fact that he's out of the game is more related to the fact he got hit in the calf with that sharp one-hopper from Buster Posey?
Well, I think because of where they are in the lineup, and the Giants are going to have their 7, 8, 9 hitters coming up here. I think it has everything to do with him getting hit in the calf. That's what got him out of this game. But right now it's Daniel Hudson, who does throw hard, mid to high 90s, hard slider and a changeup.
Duffy leads off. And there's that slider for a strike. The third baseman right next to the bag, Aaron Hill, protecting against the extra base hit. But the first baseman, Goldschmidt, look how far off the line he is, a good 30 feet or more. The outfield straight away. Duffy has twice been hit by pitches in this game. 95-mile-an-hour fastball running up and in, 0-2. Arizona's bullpen is busy as well. Back of Hudson. The left-hander, Oliver Perez. The right-hander, Ziegler, number 29.
Now this has been the Achilles heel of this D-backs team. It has really cost them a better record, and that is the bullpen. Their bullpen ERA collectively is 3.86, and they have a record of 12-15. Just 11 saves as a staff, and they've just recently taken Reed, their closer, and they've replaced him with Ziegler. So they've kind of adjusted to try and get better.
That one hit hard, a base hit to left field. First Giants hit to the outfield. They hit a few balls hard like that against Anderson, but they were all right at people. Duffy on for the third time tonight.
So fastball right in on the hands, and watch the elbows bend right through it and square it up to left field. And he hits this pitch because he's looking middle in, and that's one thing that he does very well. He looks and guesses location, and he'll set up for it with his lower body, give himself a chance to beat it, and he just did.
And he's back to the bag at first. Maxwell, the hitter, is flied out to shallow left center twice in this game. His last one was more to center field. The center fielder Pollock lost the ball, and the left fielder Inciarte came all the way over into center field and caught it. Jarrett Parker, a left-handed hitter, on deck. Duffy back to the bag again. He is the possible tying run. You mentioned Arizona's bullpen earned run average. Only 3 teams have a worse earned run average than the Arizona bullpen, and nobody has pitched as many innings out of the bullpen as the D-backs. So that bullpen has been very busy. Right field line foul. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball, according to the stadium radar gun, from Daniel Hudson. Just to give you an example, Arizona's bullpen has pitched 32 more innings than the Giants bullpen, and they've played 2 fewer games than the Giants. So they've been busy. Wild pitch. And now Duffy is into scoring position.
Wow, we have seen some wild pitches tonight coming off the arms of the D-backs pitchers that we just really can't even explain. If you're Wellington Castillo, you have none chance. Now, that's at 94 miles per hour. A ball in the dirt. And that is significant because Hudson can sink the ball. He can get ground balls, and now he just lost the force. Not to mention he has a runner in score position.
So nobody out. It becomes huge here if Maxwell can knock him in. Of course, that's the best case scenario. But at the very least, he needs to get him over to third base. 1-1 the count. 2-1. Anderson, the starting pitcher, threw a couple of wild ones like that. One of them, though, with Duffy running, where Duffy actually got credit for a steal. It was very similar to the wild pitch that Hudson just threw, and then he threw another one with Duffy at first base in the 5th inning. Changed up, 2-2.
Seen Hudson as a dominant starter in the rotation for the Diamondbacks, and all of a sudden he had big time problems with release point and control, but he went through some serious arm problems. And when he's right and he's healthy, he never has lack for stuff.
2-2 the count. Struck him out. Another off-speed pitch. Casey McGee, before that pitch was made, came out of the Giants dugout to the on-deck circle as Parker went back into the dugout. And you see his numbers against Daniel Hudson.
That's pretty good ownage right there. 6 for 9 with a home run and a double. So Mike Harkey, pitching coach, going to come out and talk about this. And the one thing about a sinker baller like Hudson, who can put the ball on the ground, it's never the end of the world to put a runner at first base. I don't think he's going to pitch another hitter. The next guy on deck for the Giants, a left-handed hitter, Nori Aoki. If he hits, you're probably going to see Oliver Perez. And that just may be the message that Harkey's given him. Do not give this guy great location pitches to hit. Stay in a corner, try and make pitches that start on a corner, fall out of the strike zone, hope he chases. One thing about McGee, you know, looking at his lifetime numbers, he sees Hudson well.
The Giants have been pretty well shut down so far tonight. For 7 innings, definitely by Anderson, who allowed only 1 hit. That was an infield hit. And yet, Madison Bumgarner, in spite of all the base runners with which he had to contend, allowed only 1 run in 8 innings. So the Giants are just a base hit away from perhaps tying the game here. The outfield is deep for McGee. Ball 1.
So staying with an off-speed pitch. It's amazing how a guy can throw 97 miles an hour with movement and be afraid to throw it.
Well, it worked beautifully for him against Justin Maxwell. Bumgarner looking on from the dugout. McGee trying to knock in the tying run. And now they've got Duffy hung up. Owings to third, and the tag by Hill. And just like that, the Giants no longer have a runner in scoring position. So McGee safe at first.
Well, your instinct when the ball gets hit behind you is to go. But I think that the last thing he saw out of the corner of his eye was that Owings was holding him on, and he was playing short to second base. And it caused him to hesitate. And once he hesitated, he was hung up. He thought that ball had a chance of getting caught in the fly, and he paused because of it.
So here's Aoki. And Hudson stays in there to face the left-handed hitter. Aoki has hit much better against lefties in his major league career. Ball 1.
Well, with the runner no longer in scoring position, they're going to let Hudson go after him. I think if Duffy had remained at second and they would just got McGee at first base, I think you would have seen Perez.
Aoki 2 hits in 6 career at bats versus Hudson. Runner at first, 2 down. That's foul. A ball and a strike to Aoki, who he's 0 for 3, but he clobbered 2 balls. And in fact, the bad luck for the Giants came in the 3rd inning. They had 2 men on, 1 man out, and Aoki scalded one. It looked like it was headed down the left field line for extra bases. And Aaron Hill made a leaping catch and turned it into an inning-ending double play. That's been the play of the game for the D-backs so far. That's as close as the Giants have come to scoring in this game. 2-1 to Aoki. Casilla up in the Giants bullpen. Right to Goldschmidt. And the inning is over. On to the ninth inning. And Casilla is going to come in for the Giants, who are trailing 1-0. On Sportsnet Central every night at 10:30. Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow, Dwayne Kuiper, who's over on the radio side right now, Dave Fleming on assignment. NBC Bay Area, the Giants television network. The Giants are down 1-0. Frustrating night for the Giants because Madison Bumgarner gave him 8 strong innings, 1 run allowed. Now Casilla gets a quick swinging strike from Wellington Castillo. Casilla does not often come into games with the Giants trailing like this, but he has not had much work lately. And the cutter is bounced foul third base side, 0-2.
Now just 2 guys in that Giants bullpen. Well, actually, that's not true now with Michael Broadway, who joined the team today as they've expanded their pitching staff to 13 pitchers. There are 3 guys that did not pitch in yesterday's game. Casilla being one of them. Halfelt being the other, and there's Michael Broadway, who just joined the team today after 10 years in the minor leagues. He is now a big leaguer.
0-2 the count. Matt Cain, who had his first rehab assignment start on Tuesday down in Richmond when the Giants were on the East Coast. Probably Monday he'll make another one for Sacramento. And Hunter Pence today was placed on the disabled list. Retroactive all the way back to June the 3rd. Last time he played. And Broadway is the one who replaced Pence on the roster today.
Good pitch there. And that's exactly what Santiago Casilla is thinking. Just a bit outside.
Now it's 3-2 to Castillo. Hunter Pence. He got a wrist issue. Not related to the broken bone that he had from spring training when he got hit by a pitch. And Mike Broadway up from Sacramento. 3-2 to Castillo. Into the gap, left center field. That's a base hit. And Castillo will stop at second with a double.
Frustration on the hill right now for Casilla. I mean, he thought he had a 1-2 strikeout, and see him slamming the rosin bag down. And he did that twice. He wound up not only putting a runner on, but Castillo burning him for a leadoff double here. It's rare that he ever shows any sign of emotion. And very quickly, Jeremy Affeldt up in the Giants bullpen. And he's still talking to himself. It is frustrating when you make a pitch and you think you get a hitter out, but once you throw that pitch, I mean, you can get mad, but you have to get over it because it will taint your next pitch.
So Ahmed, Arizona would love to get another run here. Ahmed bunts it foul up the first base side. Giants have Panic, Pagan, Posey, the first three hitters due up in the last of the ninth. Ziegler is up in the Arizona bullpen getting ready for we anticipate getting ready for the last of the ninth inning. It's been closing lately. Lamb has come out on deck for the D-backs. Jake Lamb with the pitcher due up next. Ahmed, who's 1 for 2 with a walk in this game. Castillo's not a real fast runner, so it has to be a pretty good bunt if it's going to get him over to third. And Posey goes out to talk to Castillo.
This thing has everything to do with the signs at second base. It also might be a little bit of a pep talk here from Posey to remind Casilla that this is a hitter up here. This is not a pitcher. And granted, it is a bunt situation, and Ahmed showed bunt in the first pitch, but don't assume he's just going to take it for granted that he's going to bunt again. Throw a fastball, we'll put a corner on it.
Bunted foul again. And normally, the rule of thumb, you got a runner at second like this, is you want to bunt the ball to make the third baseman come in and field it, because then you've gotten the runner over. There's nobody covering third base, but he twice has bunted up the first base side.
It's a little more lenient in that regard when you don't have a force at third. But it is standard rule. You do want to make that third baseman field the ball, have him come in. Sometimes it's just not easy to do.
2 strikes to count. Look out. A curveball. Well, he was bailing big time, and that one did not miss the plate by that much. 1-2.
It looks like Posey has definitely calmed the waters with Casilla. Kind of a hanging curveball.
And clearly off the inside, you can see there.
I mean, there's a backup curveball and a hanging curveball, and that was kind of in between both.
There is, he started back and then had to come in. So Ahmed hits the ball, but he does not do the job of moving that runner over.
Well, that's what you want. I mean, it is a strikeout situation with a runner at second base, nobody out. But if you can get it out that is non-productive, it's as good as a strikeout. Non-productive out means that runner at second stays there.
Well, here comes Bruce Bochy. Now that the left-handed hitting Lamb has been introduced into the game. And Affeldt will be brought in from the bullpen. 1-0 Arizona. The D-backs tried to lengthen their lead. We're in the 9th inning. Affeldt coming in. Runner at second will be back. 1 out here in the 9th inning. Jake Lamb, a left-handed hitter, had just been brought in as a pinch hitter for the pitcher Hudson, and Bruce Bochy countered that move, bringing in the left-hander Jeremy Affeldt, and Lamb will stay in there. You see Affeldt's numbers. Affeldt trying to find himself, get his groove back here.
Well, he's whittled about 1.5 points off his ERA, and he's got some strikeout stuff now. I mean, his last outing in New York, he came in and faced one hitter, had a strikeout the other night. So much better mechanics now. Fastball was sinking, low 90s, big curveball, and a forkball.
He's facing a guy, the first pitch fastball for a strike. He's facing a guy, Lamb, that the Giants could not get out at the start of the season. Lamb just killed the Giants in the first series of the year in Arizona. The curveball misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lamb knocked in 7 runs in the first 2 games of the year against the Giants. So Lamb tried to get a big hit for Arizona, and the curveball low, 2-1. So he's laid off 2 of those curveballs now. Lamb got hurt early this year as Strickland is now up in the bullpen. He's just recently back from the disabled list. He's only played 14 games all year. He's had 10 runs batted in and a .333 average. Of course, 7 of those 10 RBIs came in the first 2 games of the year. 1-0 Arizona in the 9th. Runner at second, Castillo. Fastball to strike.
So fastball, strike 1. A couple of missed curveballs. He gets to a 2-1 count. He has to make a pitch again. Boom, and he nails it down again with a fastball. So if you're Buster Posey, I mean, what do you throw here? He's thinking about it.
He came back with that fastball on a foul tip. Padres had scored 3 runs on the out-of-town scoreboard in the 7th inning. They got a run against Kershaw. Kershaw was taken out for the bullpen. The bullpen promptly gave up 2 runs. The Padres were ahead 3-2. The Dodgers have tied that game now in the 8th.
He tried to throw a forkball there, so a little 2-strike surprise and a 2-2 count. Again, making the adjustment up there on the out-of-town scoreboard. And that will change as it is now 3-3. Here it's 3-2.
Still 3-2. Yeah, they've made the hand-operated adjustment. 3-3 there in San Diego. Here 1-0 Arizona in the 9th inning. Castillo, who led off the inning with a double, is at second. 1 out. 2 low. Jake Lamb, he refused to go out of the strike zone. And now 2 men on, and the left-handed hitting Inciarte comes up.
That's good at bat. Inciarte has great speed. He's not an easy guy to double up.
Inciarte has knocked in the only run of this game. With 2 down in the 2nd inning, he knocked in Castillo, who was at second base then. Castillo's at second base now. Got the call on that one. The fastball to the outside, 0-1. Giants middle infield, Crawford at short and Panic at second. Pulled in a bit, double play death. Duffy at third, even with the bag. Got the call. He got the low strike, and now Inciarte is incensed.
Yeah, that's tough being an umpire. You're going to tick somebody off. That's a gift. So 2 pitches, 2 fastballs, and he has not shown him the curveball or the fork.
2 strikes to count now. And chucked it foul.
And that was the fork ball. That's a pitch that, he didn't throw a lot of those fork balls to left-handers. When he first started introducing that pitch, it was kind of his way to get right-handers out. He sort of stayed with the curveball for the longest time to lefties, and now he's getting some success with it as he's become more consistent to the low part of the strike zone. It's become a good pitch for him to righties and lefties.
Off the outside that time.
You gotta have some guts to take that pitch. 2-strike count. Strike zone has been a little strange tonight. It hasn't been that consistent on the corners. That's a great 0-2 pitch. Really is. That's a paralysis fastball, and it sets up a lot of things.
Well outside that time. 2-2.
Well, this is a big pitch for Raffeld. He does not want to get into a 3-2 count. You don't have great speed with Castillo at second base, but you do have good speed at first base with Lamb, and great speed in the batter's box.
Well, the curveball is way outside. Now it is 3-2.
And you say, well, there's an open third base. Not with 1 out. You do not want to give that by way of a walk. You cannot pitch around this guy. You have to get in the strike zone.
The right-handed hitting A.J. Pollock is on deck, having an excellent year. He got a couple of quick strikes on Inciarte. Now it's a full count. Out of play.
So a 92-mile-an-hour challenge with the fastball. Oh, you could have been somebody.
He dropped it, not only losing it, but losing it out of his deck into the second deck from the upper deck.
Meanwhile, to the victor goes the spoils.
Straight into the count. Strike 3 call.
Huge pitch from Appel. Three-2 challenge, 2-seam grip, nails it right at the base of the strike zone. And Inciarte, in a 2-strike situation, did not protect.
So the right-handed hitting Pollock is coming up. 2 men on, 2 men out. And Strickland in for the bullpen. 1-0 Arizona. Posey due up in the last of the ninth, and now Hunter Strickland will try and keep this a 1-0 game, facing a guy who's having an excellent year, A.J. Pollock.
Strickland's numbers, 10th time that he has come in, ERA of 2.61. He has been fantastic. See a fastball, mid to high 90s, 2 types of movement, forkball, and a slider.
Castillo, the runner at second. Lamb, the runner at first. Pollock is 0 for 4 in this game. All of that against Bumgarner. Too high, ball 1. Arizona has out-hit the Giants 10-2 tonight. They've had a lot of chances to do more damage than they've done. They've had 1 hit in 7 at-bats as a team with runners in scoring position. Out of play.
96-mile-an-hour fastball with cut in a perfect location. And that's how you take away a 1-0 pitch from a hitter. He's sitting on a 1-0 count thinking, I am in the driver's seat. I am going to look hard stuff. I'm going to look middle away or whatever side of the plate he's going to look at. But he's thinking he's in the driver's seat. And that little cut movement on that 96-mile-an-hour velocity with a good location, that's a tough assignment.
1 ball, 1 strike. Slider. Well, he's lucky he didn't throw it away because he had no chance to throw out Pollock, who's a very fast runner. And so the infield hit. And now Goldschmidt, one of the best hitters in the game, comes up.
Well, if you're Hunter Strickland, I mean, you're throwing with a lot of confidence right now. But you are going to get tested with this guy. .473 on base percentage for Paul Goldschmidt.
Tonight he's been on base 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. He struck out his last time. Bases loaded, 2 down. One ball and no strikes.
Now opens him up a 96-mile-an-hour cut, so he just showed him that movement early on, and he didn't get the strike. And now he's behind the count 1-0. He's got a challenge. He's got to get in that strike zone.
So the drama grows here for Strickland. The tension. 2-0.
So 2 pitches, a cut at 96, a slider at 86. 2-0 count and 2 pitches of education for Goldschmidt.
First time that Goldschmidt has ever faced Strickland in a regular season game. Bases loaded, there's nowhere to put him. He's behind in the count. On the outside edge, and it's 2-1.
I mean, that's a perfect pitch. I mean, you're not going to get it 100% of the time. But you did take away 2-0 leverage for Goldschmidt with the location.
Castillo at third, Lamb at second, and Pollock at first.
Lester wants him to shake his head. Just a little gamesmanship there with catcher probably want to throw a fastball, but have a pitcher shake his head just to put a little thought of doubt in the hitter's mind.
Right back to Hunter Strickland. So the first time he faces one of the best in the game, Goldschmidt, he had no margin for error, then fell behind him, and then got him to hit a comeback.
Wow. That's the big leagues.
Last chance for the Giants. in every aspect of the game other than the score. It's been a lopsided game. Arizona out hitting the Giants 11-2. The D-backs have had 15 base runners in this game. The Giants have had only 4 men reach base, and yet the Giants are still just 1 run down. But now they've got only the final 3 outs with which to work as Brad Ziegler comes in from the Arizona bullpen. And David Peralta stays in or comes into the game to play left field, and Ender Inciarte moves to right field. Tomas now out of the game. Ball 1 to Joe Panik.
Ziegler has taken over as the closer. Addison Reed, who had the job, has moved down a rung or 2 in the ladder of the bullpen. Ziegler, a low 90 or a mid-80 sink. A generous call there. He'll also give you kind of a roundhouse slider, and he will throw a changeup. So he's got 3 looks he could give you. Everything's pretty soft.
2-1.
Joe Panik, 15-game hitting streak on the line in this at bat as well. So a lot on this AB.
Wow. I don't know what Carlson is seeing all of a sudden.
You're getting some rebuttal here from Bruce Bochy. And I don't blame him. This has been a tough strike zone tonight. Been all over the place. Well, the frustrating thing for Panik is he feels right now that the umpire's call on the second strike made him go down there and swing at that pitch. And this is the pitch that was called a strike at a 2-1 count. And Ziegler comes right back, same location, and Panik had to go down and cover it. Frustrating at bat.
Well, it's just all of a sudden here in the 9th inning that the real low pitch is suddenly a strike. Bumgarner had several pitches, not as low as that he would like to have called strike that weren't. And he was very frustrated about it. It's just odd. 0-1 the count now to Pagan, who is 0 for 3.
Hasn't been a good zone tonight.
Giants, none of the Giants' first 3 hitters in the lineup, the guys who get on base to set up offense, have been on base. Aoki 0 for 4, Panik 0 for 4. Pagan comes in 0 for 3 to this at bat. Buster Posey on deck. Giants have only had 2 hits total. Two and 1.
It's just unbelievable how this has all of a sudden become a strike. And Angel Pagan now getting a few things off of his mind. As you mentioned, plate umpires, they do get their report card at the end of the night. And at the end of the night, Carlson's going to look in and he's missing some pitches here. And it's really changing the complexion of this game.
Good. And even the pitch FX, which will make a lot of those pitches that get caught well below the knees by the catcher show up as strikes. They're reading well down below the strike zone that he's been calling strikes in this inning. 2-2. Now it's a full count.
Easy take there.
Goldschmidt, 2 down. So Buster Posey will come up as the Giants' final hope. Dodgers are back ahead of San Diego. They responded to the Padres' 3-run 7th with a 2-run 8th of their own against the Padre bullpen. 4-3 LA down there. Bumgarner back in the dugout. And you see it on the hand-operated out-of-time scoreboard here at AT&T Park. Aaron Hill, and that's it. The Giants get home, and again, the offense disappears. The Giants' offense, which has been so great on the road, and tonight, the ultimate frustration, where their ace Bumgarner gives up 1 run, and that is enough to beat him.
Well, and you know, no player is going to come out and make an excuse for what happened tonight. Look, Chase Anderson pitched beautiful baseball. There were some atom balls that went his way. That's baseball. But Bumgarner did not really deserve to lose tonight the way that he pitched, but it's just a tired team, and it showed up on the scoreboard tonight, plain and simple.
So the D-backs have beaten the Giants again, as Arizona has owned the Giants here at AT&T Park. 1-0 Arizona, and we'll be back with more from AT&T Park.